Now, who's watching? This was surprising, a couple of these numbers, and some not so surprising. Well, first is by age. We've got 35 to 44 years old, there's 6% of you in this audience. 45 years of age to 54 years of age, 18%. 55 years of age to 64, 53%. 65 plus, 26%. You know what that means? Welcome back to the channel, Boomers. It's been 1 month, and this is an update video, making it more for myself, because as I look back over the numbers, I want to be able to look back on this day and this time with where the channel was after 1 month. I've been pleasantly surprised. I mean, what can you expect? I mean, there are people that get monetized in the first month. Not so. That's not what this is about. I want to talk to you about the stats that's given to us through our YouTube Creator Studio. So let's go over the stats for the first month of What's Up Boomer. The first 30 days, I made 6 videos. The first one was number 1, I called it. I'm creative like that. Obviously, it was the official kickoff of my second start, but the real start, my commitment to YouTube, to build a channel. The second one was on the technology I was using. Simply wanted to show that, man, I'm starting pretty bare bones with the exception of a nice iPhone. The third one was one on Social Security. Now, I knew this was a hot topic. It was a popular topic, and it was true to form. It became, and still is right now, my most watched video. The fourth one was my why. It occurred to me during the first 3 videos that I got some feedback from my grandgirls, and they were excited. They were mesmerized. They were motivating me to continue to go on. So I made a quick video, or I made a video about the grandgirls watching, and that's really ultimately my why as far as the YouTube channel. And then my 5th video was the election memories of previous elections. It was just one of those things. We were all in the election mode because I think I made that on the day before, the day after of this election of Trump and Biden. And we now know the outcome of that. Definitely staying away from all the political rhetoric. There's just nothing positive to it. But I had a fun time remembering past elections, and there's just so many things in our lifetimes with elections. And what I found out is there hasn't been a lot of changes, if you know what I mean. So let's start with the numbers on subscribers and view hours. That's been a pleasant surprise. I'm pretty happy where that is, because I know there's some people that get monetized in the first month. Well, I didn't expect that. I also didn't necessarily expect as many people initially are watching the videos. So I'm pretty happy that there's, tens and hundreds of people, and even in 2 occasions, well over 2,000, almost 3 on a couple of videos. So ultimately, I started the channel with 31 subscribers. That had been a result of when I first started the channel, or tried it 5 years ago. Nothing really happened. Most of those 31 were friends and family, I think. So I now have 288. I think I just got another one here in the last hour. Not that I check it every hour, but I just happened to check it just before to get the numbers. And I'm going with the numbers I got the other day, yesterday, I think it was. So 288 subscribers after just about a month of videos. I have 6,000 views. So most of those coming, like over 5,000 of them coming from 2 videos. The video on the first video I did to launch the channel, and the second one coming on the Social Security video. More a little bit about that in a moment. So 6,000 views, 288 subscribers. Oh, and watch hours. Watch hours have approached 300, almost 400 watch hours. I think it was at 339 last week, and when I checked this morning to update it, it was 380 hours. Now we're trying to get to 4,000 watch hours. So as you can see, if at best I continued on this course, it's going to take up to a year. And then with subscribers, you need to get to 1,000. On my way there at 288. Okay, now in the first month, have I figured out the niche, the niche? No, not even close. I know for me, it was going to be about legacy, bottom line. I sense that that's important to me to this day. No matter what happens with the channel, I'm going to continue with it because it's a record for my grandkids and my kids that when I'm gone, they still have a sense of my personality, most importantly, my voice. And I hope they'll enjoy watching it. I'm sure they will, based on my granddaughter's responses thus far. I'm starting to realize that the channel may not be like I originally thought, where I would be just talking to them personally. There will be some of that. That's, again, this is all in development. But how I'm going to use the channel now is, again, they can see who I am, what and the things I'm doing by some of the stories I plan to share as within the niche as to whatever that is. But legacy is definitely going to be a part of it, and it's going to be to encourage you to leave a legacy, possibly via a channel such as this, or other things I'm going to introduce to you as to what I'm doing to help build that connection with our families. I'm realizing that there's two aspects of it. There's this aspect that we're recording for historical purposes, but there's also the aspect of things to do today, right now, that build the relationship and connection with our families, particularly those grandkids, if you have them. And I'm realizing just how important that is right now. Let me add that a couple of the other ideas I had that I wanted to, or that I thought there might be a community to develop out there, is facing retirement without the nest egg. Lots of things to come on that. It seems like in the comments, there's definitely a lot of thoughts and beliefs and ideas regarding their Social Security. So we are thinking about, these things and facing retirement, regardless of what we have, of it being challenging. And what can we do about that? Got lots of ideas about that. I also am going to share with you with what I'm doing, as I'm facing retirement without the nest egg. More on that to come. And lastly, the nostalgia aspect. There's certainly, I think, and this is something I'm very interested in, but there's certainly an interest out there, and I get this from your comments about the nostalgia of us remembering the good old days. But maybe even beyond that, we're remembering special memories. A lot of these came out in the comments about the coffee mug. I'm excited about that. I just think we have so many things that we can share with each other, as well as share with our friends and family, to let them know that the things we're doing today someday might and may indeed become very special in the future. And that's worth remembering. Now, who's watching? This was surprising, a couple of these numbers, and some not so surprising. Well, first is by age. We've got 35 to 44 years old. There's 6% of you in this audience. 45 years of age to 54 years of age, 18%. 55 years of age to 64, 53%. 65 plus, 26%. You know what that means? I've got a young audience following me at 66 years old. But obviously it's a more mature audience, which is what I would have assumed. Not so surprising, but appreciate all you younger viewers. Male and female. This was a little surprising. Of the 6,000 views, 76% are male and 24% are female. I thought it would be a little more even, to be honest. I have no idea why or how that is, but I find that interesting. It'd be interesting to see if that changes or what develops with that. Which is all good to me. And then, as far as parts of the world, by far most viewers are in the United States at 77%. Canada had 3%. The UK had 3%. Then there were some other places like the Philippines, because I have some connections there. And Australia, that's another one. Always kind of cool that as we build our YouTube channels, there's a worldwide audience. The YouTube Creator Studio has so many stats, so many angles, that they can get a little overwhelming. I only have been focusing, though, on a few. And the first, most important, is that I try to do a minimum of one video a week. And that's my challenge and it's my goal. But the most important thing, the stat or fact of starting my YouTube channel, was really that I did it. I started. Starting line was the fact that time is running out. It's the most limited, precious commodity. Far less days ahead of me than behind me. And so if I was going to do this, I had to get going and record. And that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing today. That's what you're doing if you're thinking of doing a YouTube channel. No matter what the niche or topic, just do it. I threw out all the concerns I had, that I'm not good enough, no one's going to listen, and I decided to do it. I think the thing that really pushed me over, even as the overthinker that I've been, even as recently as a few hours ago this morning, I thought, I was second guessing, is this really worth the time? And when it all comes down for me, that why, it's going to be because these will be the final things that I'll leave so that the legacy is there for the kids. So as I'm wrapping up this video, going to do the final shot or set of what I had left to say, my fire went out. And this just is a perfect example of what I'm about to say about perfectionism. And so now I have to go through these ads on my Netflix. The Fireplace Classic. So let me reset this so we finish with the fireside chat atmosphere. All right. So we have the fire back. If you'll notice, it's a brand new fire. Wow. So this is so perfect because it perfectly illustrates how our YouTube journeys are going to be really imperfect, especially at the start. So what I was about to say was that the imperfection of this whole thing of it's harder than it, sometimes it's hard. It's not hard, but there's a lot of stuff you put up with. You have no idea. In the last hour, that was almost an hour fire, so it ran out. I have fallen and hit the floor one time because I tripped, scaring my co-host to death. I've restarted and started at least 10 times in these different segments. And by the way I'm recording is to keep, number one, to keep my files smaller so it's easier to do the transfer from the phone to the computer, which I airdrop. And also to edit. I can edit segments, so you'll notice sometimes these quick one scene to the next, I may not be standing in the perfect place as if I had just stood here and read the whole thing or talked the whole time. Anyway, that editing process for me is to do segments, put them together, make the clips under 2 minutes if possible, then put it all together. And then of course, I went to start the last one. I look back and I go, oh my gosh, we've got something else on Netflix. I'll have to see in the editing where that happened. But anyways, this idea of not being perfect and perfect. I read recently that perfectionism stops people from completing their work, yes, but worse, it stops you from beginning the work. And that's exactly what I've been able to do finally, is to put all of the things that perfectionism has kept me from doing, and at least in this instance, start this channel. And in the first month, these are some of the things that are good enough for me. I'm excited about it. I'm motivated. I'm also motivated about those of you who are also doing this or thinking of doing it. And there's a lot of you, because in the comments you've left, you've identified yourself. I've checked out many of your channels. I hope to do some partnerships with you, or not partnerships, but get to know you better, where we grow together. And as a matter of fact, comment if that's you. And one thing I don't want to become is a YouTube channel of how to do YouTube. It's easy to fall into that because you see a lot of interest out there and you see a lot of people wanting and asking for help. And but anyway, boomers, I'm going to wrap it up. It's been quite a morning. Now I'll go edit and put whatever this looks like, these clips I've made together, to put together here's my first month on YouTube. I should have something to celebrate, like a cup of coffee. Later.